Back up.
Go back.
Go back.
There you go, perfect.
Right here? Oh, good.
Don't wait past him, we can't see.
Well, and I know you see this one.
Stay in the light. Stay in the light now, yeah.
So, leadership is key when you talk about crime in the city. And what we all know is that we have a police chief that doesn't want to be in Little Rock. So I think we need to address that first of all head on. So if we have a police chief that doesn't want to be in Little Rock, then we should invite that police chief to leave. I think that we need to look within the Little Rock Police Department and search for a police chief, because the morale of the Little Rock Police Chief in the Little Rock Police Department is low. I think if we look for a police chief within the ranks and file of the members of the Little Rock Police Chief, Little Rock Police Department, you do two things. You boost morale, and number two, you improve community policing. I agree that community policing is necessary. It's needed because it's relationship business. It's all relationship business. When the community know who their police officers are, when they see them walking in the community, they can form a relationship with them. Currently, under the present administration, the police officers are rotating in communities. I think that's a mistake. I would not have the police officers rotating. I would have them meeting with the neighborhood associations throughout the city. I would have them developing a relationship with the city directors so we all know who the players are. And another thing, I would not outsource diversity training like we do here in the city of Little Rock when it comes to diversity in the Little Rock Police Department. Last year, we outsourced that. We brought in a company from Colorado to teach our police officers about diversity. I think that was a mistake when we have people right here in the city who could have spent those dollars for. So elect Vincent Toliver mayor in November, and you'll have a mayor who is really about community policing and making sure that our police chief wants to be in the city of Little Rock.
Amen.
Gentlemen, as we move into our second question, just a reminder to keep an eye on Amanda to let you know when it's time to wrap things up so we can get through all of our questions today. And we're going to start with Mr. Toliver in this round. Census data shows Little Rock's growth continues to be outpaced by metro areas and other parts of the state, Northwest Arkansas and Northeast Arkansas. We're also seeing surging populations in our surrounding suburban communities, which continue to pull residents from our city. Obviously, we all recognize job growth and economic development is crucial for the future of Little Rock. What specific plans do you have to create robust job opportunities and economic growth, helping to attract more residents and businesses to our city?
Thank you for the question. It's an excellent question. One specific thing in our platform is artists and communities. What that means is Little Rock is comprised of 7 wards. We want to make sure that we know what the identity of those neighborhoods are. So we promote having art and artists in all 7 wards so that we can identify what the heartbeat of the neighborhoods are. We have great neighbors here in Little Rock. I think we believe in showcasing them because in every neighborhood and in every ward, you have singers, you have artists, you have dancers. So I want to make Little Rock a city where millennials will be attracted because it's a vibrant art city. I want to make sure that we engage with neighbors across communities. Just because you live in Ward 3, that doesn't mean you shouldn't visit with your neighbors in Ward 2 or 3 or 5. I want to bring all the wards together in the city, and I think an excellent way of doing that is through arts and communities. Second thing, in terms of job growth and economic development, I think it begins in the neighborhoods. I'm not a fan of necessarily having jobs outside of the city all the time. I think we need to focus on jobs that people can walk to in their neighborhoods, that they can get to on bikes, because economic development begins in the neighborhood. I'm for attracting small companies that would relocate to Arkansas and neighborhood-based companies. So that would drive the economic development in neighborhoods and promote vitality in the city that we all love. Thank you very much.
In the Scott administration, our economic development plan will be a development plan that needs to be rethought. What do I mean by that? We've been having stagnant growth in this city for several years. So experience matters, but outcomes matter more. We have not had true growth yet. How do we do that? We have to have a mayor that's gonna be the chief growth officer for the city, that's gonna lead economic development and drive it and not be in the back seat. What do you do? One of the things I want to do is make certain that we create an economic development corporation where the mayor chairs and focuses on recruiting companies here, but also make certain that we take care of the existing entrepreneurs that are here right now. We have to stop the impediments to growth. And so one of the first things I plan to do in the first 100 days is to create a cut the red tape commission. I understand our friends in Northwest Arkansas, it takes 2 or 3 weeks to get things done from a planning commission. In Little Rock, I'm a banker, I understand when I'm dealing with my clients, 2 or 3 months at best. We have to figure out and stop those issues from our growth. Secondly, we have to improve our infrastructure. That is the foundation of economic development. We have to have an infrastructure improvement plan. We have to apply the growth in West Little Rock, but we also have to make certain that we improve the infrastructure in South and 630 at the same time, so we all can grow together. We're not competing with one another. We have to unite the city. Not only do we focus on that, we have to start focusing more on technology and innovation. In addition to that, we have to bring companies here. And as we do all of those things, that will help us have true growth. True growth. And finally, we gotta get our schools in order. Companies look to see
Okay,
what's going
Mr.
on in our
Scott,
schools. Thank you.
We're gonna get to the question on that.
I don't think Little Rock has to bend over backwards to attract growth. We have amazing resources here, intelligent, hardworking people. We have the most beautiful land around, all green trees and stuff. And we have water, and the best water sources that you can find in a major city. But let's look at this growth. Are we gonna, for the last 30 years, we've grown from like 160,000 to 180,000. And in the next 30 years, we're gonna just grow to like 200,000. What if what I mentioned earlier comes true? When sea levels rise and millions of people are looking for a new place to live, they're gonna choose Little Rock and Nashville, Huntsville. And then it's gonna be our task to try to handle this kind of growth. And I'm talking like a doubling 5 times over. What if we were to destiny is to become like a city of 4 or 5 million? Are we gonna become another Los Angeles, sprawled out over 100 square miles? Or is there another plan, and there is another plan that I'd like to bring to the table? I call it the Metropolitan Village Plan, the Metropolis Village Plan, where you have a dense inner city, and then you take and build villages going out into the country, all the way to the next county if necessary. And then you build the most excellent mass transit from these villages back into the city. Imagine, if you will, what's happened to the river market. The most successful thing that's happened to Little Rock is does that make stop? Okay, let's take the river market where like 10,000 people have moved into downtown Little Rock. Take that, pick it up and move it out to like 5 miles west of Little Rock, and then another 1, 3 or 4 miles past that, and connect them all with amazing mass transit. Thanks.
So much of our economic development strategy in the last few years here in Little Rock is pretty old-fashioned. It's about attracting companies in from the outside, when really, the main commodity of the 21st century economy is talent. It's about human capital and how you develop that. So when I gave you my opening remarks, I mentioned to focus on small business and entrepreneurship, and I really believe in that, because if you look at the history of Little Rock, those companies that we're most proud of, that we brag about everywhere we go, from Sabin's to Axiom to Dillard's and Alltel, all of them started here as entrepreneurial ventures, and they grew here, and they supported other small businesses that grew up around them. But we need to ask ourselves, what are we doing to create those entrepreneurial ventures of the 21st century? And this is what I do in my private sector work at Windrock, and there's so many resources available to people to start new businesses, to access financing, and to be able to do that in every neighborhood around the city. And that's the most effective and the most sustainable way to create economic growth. And we need to couple that with job training and workforce training, which we can do by pairing our school district with our private employers and making sure that people have the skills for the jobs of the 21st century. Those jobs exist now. In fact, employers complain that they have jobs available here in Little Rock that they can't fill because they can't find the skilled workers to do it. And when we're building up those entrepreneurial ventures and we have skilled workers, then we can attend to the last piece of the puzzle, which is bringing in big companies from the outside, as has happened in so many of the cities we're trying to be like, whether it's Charlotte or Chattanooga, Louisville, Austin, or Nashville. So I think we need to start at the grassroots. We need to build up from the bottom and create a sustainable 21st century jobs and economic development plan for Little Rock.
our UAMS system, which is our largest single employer, gets 6% of its support from the state. That's the least in the nation, and we gotta change that. The mayor can be a factor in that. The mayor can lead and pound the table for this state to support the institutions that are already here. That's the low fruit. You go to UA Little Rock right now. I don't like what I see. I like the people, but I don't like the statewide support. We've got to vitalize that institution. If you want to find out how to do that, you know we've got 3.8% unemployment. We need people. That's the human capital that we don't have. We're at full employment. How do you do that? Well, you revitalize neighborhoods. You make this an attractive, wonderful place to live. You give people opportunity. They'll come with the opportunity. People are bright-minded. I was at the Venture Center. I've been down at the FinTech Center so many times, and I'm telling you, they're here, and they want to stay here. But where do they want to live? They want to live in a neat, wonderful neighborhood where they can connect with their friends. We have city parks, walkable neighborhoods, cycling. Go to the website, because I'm going to run out of time, and look at the revitalization piece that I put together. We have so much. We have roughly 35% of the property around Central High School is either vacant or a vacant lot. We got all the infrastructure there we need: roads, streets, sidewalks, water, sewer, and all we need are people and entrepreneurial people to build those things out, and then we'll really connect